You are listening to Big Picture You podcast series from VC2 Studio.
Good morning, afternoon, or night, everyone. Coming to you from the cozy, comfy VCG media broadcast booth, I'm Verve Coach Gordon, and you are listening to Big Picture You, the podcast series where wellness practices and concepts meet practical application and real-life example. And a Happy New Year to you. I hope your year is off to a great start. Thanks as well for tuning in to my first episode of 2022. This is episode 1, season 3, Big Picture You podcast series, The Humanness of Humanity. It is now available for streaming and is a great tie-in to the final episode of last season, season 2, episode 10, Manipulating the Future Through Addressing Regrets. Be sure to check that one out if you haven't heard it yet. The Big Picture You podcast series is available at our awesome host site, Anchor.fm, and is also available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Radio Public, and Breaker, and on my YouTube channel. Welcome, listeners from around the globe. Thanks so much for your support, and thanks for tuning in, everyone. Here at the Verve Coach Gordon organization, we always strive to be a wellness entity and provider that remains super inclusive and equitable in all of our practices. If you find us to be otherwise, please let me know. Just drop me a note at gordon@vervecoach.com. I'd love to hear from you. Now, on to Season 3, Episode 1 of Big Picture You podcast series, The Humanness of Humanity. And as always, human beings, please feel free to reach out to me with questions or comments, or if you'd like clarification on anything. First, before we go too far, I'm going to lay a few definitions on you. What follows is Merriam-Webster's full definition of human. Of course, first, the noun. A bipedal primate mammal, in parentheses, Homo sapiens. Example, a person. Fair enough. By way of further definition, though, first, of, relating to, or characteristic of humans. Examples, the human brain, human voices, problems that have occurred throughout human history. Next, consisting of or involving humans. Examples, everyone held hands and made a human chain. Human interactions. Human spaceflight. Then, having human form or attributes. Examples, the statue is more human than the beings at his feet. That was said by Clifton Fadiman, who was an American intellectual, author, editor, radio and television personality throughout the mid to late 1900s. That is a most interesting statement in my estimation, perhaps saying that we can create a perfect inanimate vision of human reality, but we certainly cannot be that ourselves. And finally, representative of or susceptible to the sympathies and frailties of human nature. Examples, human kindness, a human weakness. Such an inconsistency is very human. I'm going to follow up real quick with a few more definitions regarding the word humanity. This is all just a bit of info for you to stash away for further and future processing. And, of course, application. As I do like to provide you with content and material that is easily applicable in practical ways to your life's path and well-being. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary's essential meanings for the word humanity, plural, humanities, 1. The quality or state of being human. Example, they were joined together by their humanity. 2, the quality or state of being kind to other people or to animals. We appeal to his sense of humanity, and of course kindness being one of the core tenets of our work with the 11 energies of the verve. 3, all people, a humankind example. These discoveries will be of benefit to all humanity. She was cut off from the rest of humanity. Again, this is all just a bit of info for you to stash away for further and future processing and application. And importantly, also for application to today's example of humanness and humanity. The example I'll be going with today is breaking bread together, both literally and figuratively. Literally, of course, having some food, possibly a meal with one another, so I'm going to start there. Then connect with the figurative, in a minute or 3. Now, when I was growing up, we always sat down together for dinner at 6 p.m. Breakfasts and lunches were many times together, but because of various school and work schedules over the years, those could be a little bit inconsistent. But dinners, oh yeah, it was usually all of us, the whole family, except early on while my dad was still doing shift work for the police department. Now, those dinners were a great venue for communication across a super broad range of topics and moods across a good span of lifetimes. We were able to really get to know one another in many capacities, providing a richness to our lives, as well as a strong support mechanism that not everyone is privileged in having. The same dynamic, in varying degrees, may happen when we're enjoying a snack with a friend, someone you've just met at an event or function, or perhaps at a business meeting or conference. Now, what about dating? How many dating situations involve food? I will ask also, how many cultural events, rituals, and celebrations are closely bound to food? And many times, specific foods like good old burgers and hot dogs for the 4th of July. Maybe mooncakes for Chinese New Year, or even tamales for Christmas. Now, out of this surely grows a stronger sense of community and a greater feeling of belonging. Interacting with other people helps us all be better and more fulfilled humans, and in the end, positively enhance all aspects of the group known as humanity. Figuratively, if we remove the food, the notion simply becomes sharing of humanness in myriad shapes and forms. Possibly the idea of breaking bread may then become breaking down barriers. Barriers blocking the best performance of our humanness toward others and toward ourselves. Breaking bread together, a tasty notion, literally and figuratively. One more quick connection. As we do certainly enjoy connecting dots in the Big Picture You podcast series. Along those lines, an educator recently mentioned to me that they felt there should be more focus on humanities within today's education. Basically, the arts, literature, philosophy, things that connect to our humanness and humanity in more general and creative ways without necessarily being attached to a specific career, title, or formal education. This observation and comment surely made me think of STEAM education, where the A has been added to STEM in representation of the arts. And perhaps within this more creative connection with our education, the art of being human is what provides the ability to take an active hand in helping to create a masterpiece of humanity. This speaks very strongly to creativity, which is the basis for the 11 energies of the verve as they tap into creative universal energies that are around us and within us all of the time. That being said, now, as I do in each episode, I will relate the episode's main content to some of the 11 energies of the verve. Let's start with energy number 3, compassion. Strive to be compassionate toward your fellow humans. Compassion is actually an ancient instinct within humans, but it needs to be actively maintained through frequent practice. On to energy number 4, openness. Be open to different things in people. Be open toward your own differences as well. Use every opportunity presented to get to know ourselves and others better. After all, openness is a vital element in being creative. Energy number 5, sincerity. Be sincere in your communications. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Always being conscious of our own appropriateness of language and behavior. This really requires heightened levels of self-monitoring. Not always easy. Now I'm going to limit myself to only 3 of the energies today, as there are many, many connections to be revealed, and I could surely go on for a long, long while doing this. Instead, I invite you, the listener, to ferret out and explore those further connections on your own. Remembering all the while, folks, that regardless of my stories, examples, and narratives, this truly is all about your journey while fortifying the notion that greater harmony within ourselves, in our own lives, will certainly bring about greater harmony in our groups, organizations, and institutions, and vice versa. You can see all 11 of the energies of the verve at my website, or please reach out to me for a small carry-along card, Gordon@vervecoach.com. Let me list out these energies real quick for you. Passion, enthusiasm, compassion, openness, sincerity, truth, self-value, forgiveness, sparkle, courage, and love. Alrighty now, here's the big picture big picture takeaway for today's episode. Bottom line, there is no perfection on this plane of existence. Human beings can be inconsistent or maybe super focused. I kind of think most of us move in and out of these spaces. That's my belief anyway. Human beings are complex beings, physically, emotionally, and psychologically, but many times we simply don't view ourselves or others in this way. As complex beings, there are many joys to be had and shared within the state of being human, and pitfalls as well. There are many victories and a good portion of failures too. For all of us. But looking back at Merriam-Webster's definitions at the top of this program, when we're looking at the combination of what it means to be human and what it means to be a part of the collective called humanity, we can see that there are many intersections, yet at the same time, challenges implied. We must be tuned in to a very high degree to our individuality while realizing and understanding where we fit within our societal and group dynamics and memberships, including the group known as humanity. I particularly relate to a couple of Webster's definitions of humanity relative to being human, and those are representative of or susceptible to the sympathies and frailties of human nature. Examples: human kindness, a human weakness. Such inconsistency is very human. Another one I particularly related to: the quality or state of being kind to other people, or to animals. I have a strong belief that humans should support and help one another in building a super strong collective. At the same time, I realize that while I share this belief with some folks, it may be a fantastic and even unrealistic belief to other folks. But as always, if we strive to do our best, our success rates will be much higher than if we try very little or not at all. It really is that simple. As together, we bring about our most fulfilling big picture you, big picture me, and big picture us. And since our lives are an open and wonderful canvas on which to create a beautiful masterpiece of humanness and humanity, I must thank you all for the opportunity to provide you with materials, tools, and mediums to assist you in creating your life's masterpiece. The foundational values, the 11 energies of the verve. These foundational values can be referred to at any time to help negotiate challenge, help in decision-making, or gain motivation and positivity. The book, The 11 Energies of the Verve, is available at Amazon and Etsy, or through my website if you'd like a signed copy. It's also available in select hospital gift stores and medical marijuana dispensaries. Contact me for those names, please. The book is a wonderful healing and wellness guide, as well as a great support mechanism for New Year's resolution achievement, turning those resolutions into solid goals. I'm offering a special that includes 3 free mini personal coaching sessions with the purchase of an 11 Energies of the Verve book. So get your copy today. And please remember my From My Heart to Your Heart posts, posted every Monday morning across social media or available as private text messages. Just contact me to subscribe. They're just little inspiring or motivating tidbits to kickstart your week. Please tune in to the broadcast next time for Season 3, Episode 2, the first episode of a very exciting interview series titled 4 Fearless Females, featuring an engaging and empowering interview with one fearless and accomplished female in each episode. It's going to be a great series to catch right from the very beginning.
You are listening to Big Picture You podcast series from VCT Studios.
Please visit my website for news and announcements, as well as regular updates. Lots of good stuff coming your way from the Verve Coach Gordon organization. All content, text, and music in the Big Picture You podcast series is copyright Verve Coach Gordon unless otherwise cited. And in today's episode, we had the Merriam-Webster Dictionary and Clifton Fadiman, mentioned earlier. Thanks so much for listening to the broadcast today. I truly appreciate you. If you have any feedback, please reach out to me at gordon@vervecoach.com with questions or even answers for that matter. Remember, kindness is beautiful, both toward others and yourself, in creating an amazing and empowering big picture you, big picture me, and big picture us. Be well, my friends.